All right, are we ready?
I sure am.
Okay, well then let's get going. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our webinar on scaling your business using freelance talent. And I'm Valerie Freeman. I'm the founder and CEO of Imprimis Group and Bravo Tech and Freeman Leonard. And I'm going to introduce Elizabeth in just a minute. But I wanted to say that the reason we're doing this is that I've been looking at this freelance economy for a long time. In fact, I found in my file where I was keeping all the articles about freelance business from Harvard Business Review in May of 2012. And the article was called "The Best Executive and Professional Jobs May No Longer Be Full-Time Gigs." And they went on and on about freelancers. So for the last 10 years, this movement has been gaining some credibility. And of course, the pandemic just accelerated this type of business. So being in the staffing business, which I am, and Elizabeth too, we wanted to be able to offer our clients this particular service. And we have the typical staffing, recruiting for temporary help and contractors and so on. But this is different. And it does allow small and medium-sized businesses another tool in their box to help them recruit. So let's go ahead and get going. I want to introduce Elizabeth. She is the CEO and founder, as you can read on the screen, of Results Resourcing. And she's a tech entrepreneur, and really we are using her technology. So when I decided I wanted to offer freelance business for our clients, I thought about starting our own technology. But you know how that goes. If you're not in the software development business, it can be a nightmare. So a friend of mine introduced me to Elizabeth, and it just worked out perfectly. She has a lot of expertise in this area and the technology, and we have all of the people, and so it worked out just fine. So Elizabeth is in addition to being the founder and CEO of Results Resourcing, she's also been involved in serving on boards of companies, building startup companies. So she has a lot of expertise in hiring for all kinds of companies. And of course, we know how much harder it is to recruit for a small and medium-sized business that no one knows the name of. So also small and mid-sized companies also have a lot of flexibility needs as well. And so here we are. So Elizabeth is going to lead this presentation, and she has a lot of slides, and she will go through her slides. And if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the Q&A, and we'll stop along the way probably and ask these questions. And if not, we'll wait to the end and we'll do Q&A at this time. So Elizabeth, I'm turning it over to you.
Thank you, Valerie. And I'm really happy to be joining you today to make this presentation, because I think our collaboration is frankly the way of the future. Businesses will always need full-time employees, but they have amazing flexibility if they consider freelance talent as part of their arsenal. And so today is really going to talk a little bit about what's happening in that area. And we're going to talk about 4 different areas. The first is acquainting you with the gig economy. You may have been reading about it, but I live my life in it 24/7. So I want to share some of the things that I've learned over the past 10, 12 years of dedicating our company focus on this area. I want to talk a little bit about the benefits of freelance work. Also, what kind of work to outsource, And then, if you've made that decision, how do you get the expertise you need? And as Valerie said, we'll be ending with Q&A, but if you have questions, put them in the chat or the Q&A, and we want to make sure we get all your questions answered. So let me start with just what the gig economy is and the fact that it is huge. It's a $4.5 trillion global industry in US dollars. And this is just a quick snapshot of kind of, if you take a step back, where does the gig economy fit in the overall economy and the staffing of businesses? Because actually the gig economy has been around forever. And so in the blue box are various forms of the gig economy, which is contingent work, 1099 contract work. There have almost always been statement of work consultants, independent contractors, temp workers, temporary agency work, and something relatively new called the human cloud, which is access to talent over the internet. And then in the red ball is the sharing economy. And you may all really be familiar with that because that's non-labor related online services. And you've probably heard about rides and rooms, Uber, Lyft, Airbnb, Amazon, eBay. Those are all examples of non-labor related online services that you get because of the internet. So technology has made this possible. And technology is actually making human labor services available over the internet as well. And you may have heard about big platforms like Upwork or Fiverr or many other platforms that we'll talk about in a minute. And so what we're going to talk about today is really this contingent work area. And so I just wanted to give you a sense of it. The big blue area is really, contract work, temporary agency work, directly sourced temporary workers, statement of work, and this small sliver is the human cloud. And that's increasingly what's been being made available through the internet for people. And this is what the sliver that we're talking about when we talk about the gig economy, and it's growing rapidly and it's catching up with the other forms of the sharing economy, which everyone's getting used to between phones and rides and rooms. Now we can get labor through quality labor through the gig economy as well. And so why is it the future? Well, the future is freelance because since long before COVID, the trends were that full-time employment was on the decline. And that is the declining line here. And then the upward swing is the line of people that are choosing to freelance. And some people are choosing to freelance to supplement full-time jobs, but many, many people are replacing their income with freelance work. And that got really exacerbated by the COVID and the pandemic and the virtual work trends. But really in 2027, the prediction before COVID was that 51% of the US workforce would be freelancing by 2027. And that may very well have accelerated. So that just gives you a picture of what's happening, in the world. So employment is always going to be a full-time thing as well, but more and more people are choosing to freelance. And smart companies are really looking at the universe of talent that's available to them when they think about how to staff their companies. And so why is gig work popular with workers? It's generally independence, work satisfaction, and financial security. And it allows them to create a business entity, to write off work expenses. They can take a side hustle with the objective of becoming permanent over time. And it's all 1099 contract work. And who's doing it? Well, it really crosses the age spectrum. The most prominent are young people, Gen Z and millennials, that comprise, a large portion, but Gen X and even boomers are choosing not to retire, but to work part-time. And so there's just a lot of people interested in adding gig work to their professional repertoire. And so let's talk a little bit about the benefits of gig workers to businesses, to employers that want to use more flexible talent in the complexion of your workforce. Well, it's the same kind of three circles, but in hiring freelancers, it's availability, flexibility, and skills. So let's talk a little bit about what that means. First of all, gig workers help you scale your business up and scale it down. Demand's not always constant, or there may be seasonality, or You may be developing a new product that you're not sure how it's going to go. And those are all great uses of how to bring gig workers in to give you flexibility to scale up and down. As we'll be talking further, it's a great way to offload the non-core work that you must do to run your company, but it's not the work that your clients pay you for. So it's more administrative in nature. And you can get freelance talent that helps you do that more cost effectively with a great deal of expertise. And so again, this is variable cost expertise that allows your business to be more nimble. And you don't have to have real estate. You don't have to provide equipment. It's all 1099 contract work, which means they work independently and flexibly to supplement your core staff. Also, many freelancers now are creating their own businesses. So they know what it takes to run a business and be a business owner. That makes them more results oriented. And not that you can't have results oriented employees, that's what everyone wishes to have, but they really understand that bottom line, they need to produce results for you. And that's the orientation they bring to the table. And in general, this really allows you to optimize your capital use. No business, no matter how large, has unlimited supply of capital. And so it really allows you to find the best use to deploy your capital, but still get the expertise and the resources you need when you need them. And it's just one little point of outside validation. This is a study that LinkedIn did, again pre-COVID, but when they surveyed all the people that were hiring freelancers through the LinkedIn platform, 83% of the small and mid-sized businesses who frequently hire freelancers agreed that contractors really help their business get the job done. Because what that job is can vary day to day, and freelancers help bring expertise and skills and on-demand talent to the table when you need them. So let's talk a little bit about what work to outsource, because that can be the biggest question. It's fairly easy to say, oh, I need to have a full-time person to do this or that, but how do you start deciding what work you want to outsource to others? And this is one of my favorite quotes by one of the leading business thinkers, actually in the 1950s, he said this, but to do what you do best and outsource the rest. And I think this is a really good thing to kind of have in your mind as you're thinking about your business. And what do you want your core resources to do? It's to do what you do best and what you deliver to your clients. And so that's really the first box. Think about core work. And the work that you should really be doing is that core work that your client pays you for, that differentiates you, make you special, and that's high return on investment time to you. That's really the first kind of cut as you're thinking about what work to do in-house and what work to outsource. And so what work to delegate? Delegate to a freelancer. It's low ROI work to you, return on investment work, return on investment on the time that you spend for your business. So it's stuff you need to do to run your business, whether it's bookkeeping or social media, or administrative work, but it's not stuff your client's going to pay for. It's a cost to doing business. And that is the prime place to look for expertise that you can hire on a freelance basis to help you get that work done. And that, as I mentioned, is kind of low ROI on time work to you. And so what work do you need done? There's a plethora of work. And really, whatever it is, honestly, there is a freelance pro that's just right for that choice. And those are freelancers that are expert at whatever, frankly, is non-core to you or maybe work you don't like to do. So if you're thinking about building market awareness, there's a freelancer that can help with branding, marketing, logos, copywriting, digital email marketing, graphic design, and on and on. And all the social media work that you do or updating your website, there are freelance specialists that's what they do best. So you can outsource what's not core to you to something that's core to a freelancer that's really a professional in these areas that are sidelines to your core business. You may be trying to serve more customers, at a peak demand time, or you may be trying to reach more customers through podcasting or developing a webinar like we're doing today. or providing customer service and support, sales support, developing proposals, helping you coordinate Zoom meetings. Again, those are all great roles for freelancers. You may be trying to expand your operating team, so your operating team can focus on the core things that deliver value through the know-how that core team has. But you may need, I'm sure you need, accounting and bookkeeping, administrative or executive assistants. You might need an interim C-level person for a period of time to manage a project. You know, those are all great roles for expert freelancers to come in and supplement that core team. And lastly, most businesses are trying to scale, figure out how to generate more revenue at a lower cost. And so there are plenty of super freelance consultants that can come in on a one-time basis to help you think out that strategy, plan how to streamline your operations, help you with data analytics that might help you establish a new marketing strategy, to budget, to forecast, one of my favorite jobs is process design. Most people aren't really good at that. And there are business consultants that can come take process out of your head and put it down on a piece of paper so you can automate it, or develop learning programs to teach others the process that makes you different and enables you to deliver value to your client. So hopefully that just gives you a sense of all the different kinds of people that are out there helping you. But let's talk for a second about the economics of full-time versus contract work, because you may say, oh, it's just much simpler to hire somebody full-time. And I want to start by showing you this economic example. And it's comparing it's somebody that would earn $135,000 base salary. And that may be a little higher than many of the people that you hire. But the reason I want to use it is this is a study that was published, and I want to keep true to it, but use it as a good comparison. So in this case, if you're going to hire a full-time employee, $135 base salary, and then there's all these additional costs. So this is a W-2 employee, and it's recruiting and training, payroll tax, insurance, benefits, office space, wasted time, and lost time, which are all realities, for a total cost on an annual basis for basically 49 weeks of labor a year, a little over $300,000. If you hired a freelancer at quite a very high rate, $150 an hour, for the same amount of time, you'd save 6%, which isn't a whole lot. But what I think is compelling is the fact that you probably don't need that freelance worker, even at the same rate, for 49 weeks or almost 2,000 hours. So if we just assume you need a freelancer for half that time, you save all those additional costs. So even if that freelancer is $150 an hour, your total cost is $150,000. That's a 52% savings, on hiring that full-time person. So again, you still need full-time people, especially for those core roles that really differentiate you in the market. But you really, if you think about the non-core roles at a very high rate per hour, you can save a lot of money, whether it's website, content development, admin, bookkeeping, whatever it might be. There are really pretty significant cost savings to be had if you think about augmenting your full-time team with talented freelancers that are professional at each of those specialties that I shared with you. And so that's really a way to think about the economics of full-time versus contract talent, in addition to skill and availability and talent. So now that we've talked a little bit about what work to outsource, let's talk a little bit about access to expertise, because you may have decided, yes, that's something I need, but how do you go about finding it? There's two primary talent sources. One is to do it yourself. And a lot of people do it yourself through reaching out to their friends. Hey, do you know somebody that can do this or that? Or your business colleagues, or to go to job platforms. And those are all very common ways for people to find talent that can work for them. The other option is to go to a recruiter. And that's a common path if you're thinking about a full-time worker, but you can also go to recruiters for contract workers. And what's great about recruiters is it's really high ROI on your time. You tell them what they need, you tell a recruiter what you need, and then the recruiter goes out and finds it for you. And they're expert at recruiting. Many times there's performance guarantees and very little opportunity cost to you. So you could spend time on really what's high ROI to you versus low ROI, do it yourself recruiting. That's probably not your specialty. And so many times, really electing to bring a recruiter in to help you is a really solid way to go. And that's increasingly so when you think about all the online talent platforms and models that are out there. And this is a chart from actually a couple years ago, because there's at least 350 to 500 online platforms out there where you can hire talent. And this is a great example because it just kind of shows you the choices that you have to wade through. On the left-hand axis, there are on-site platforms that help you hire contract construction workers, for example, or maintenance workers, restaurant workers. Or you might be looking for remote talent that can help you with that logo or write articles for you, whatever it might be. And then on the right-hand, on the bottom axis is lower skill talent to higher skill talent. And increasingly, at the right end of the scale, traditional staffing helps you with higher end talent. And they can also help you with higher end online talent. And so many of you are probably familiar with two of the largest online job platforms today, Upwork and Fiverr. And there's many others, but those are the big ones. And those two companies went public in 2019, and they have enormous market cap, which really means it's such a popular way to find resources there. But they're both do-it-yourself platforms. And at least at the time of this writing, Fiverr was more well known for lower skill remote work, and Upwork was kind of in the middle. And I represent Results Resourcing, which is in this upper right-hand corner. We weren't in this original study, but I placed us here because it gives you a sense of, as Valerie was saying earlier, we're collaborating with staffing agencies to bring to the table highest skill online talent to help your business scale in some of these functions where you really need high-level talent. So I'm going to pause just for a second to see if there's any questions that we can answer before we start talking about how you would go about working with a staffing agency to find the kind of talent that you might need. Chloe, do we have any questions in the chat before we proceed?
You have one question that I think might be a good time to answer. What is the most in-demand freelance job by businesses?
That's a good one. So actually, it's a virtual assistant. That is generally the first place that businesses go when they're wading into the freelance world. And it's generally a job that has enormous capacity. So many of the boxes that I showed you earlier, if I go back just quickly, here, a virtual assistant actually can do a lot of these roles. Now, they may not be as expert as hiring someone that's a social media specialist or a marketing specialist, but many will have, say, bookkeeping skills, invoicing. They'll be able to do basic analytics and reporting. And so a lot of people start with an executive assistant or administrative assistant, either for the business principal or sometimes even for a marketing team. So it's really a great place to start because in addition to bringing great skills to the table, a virtual assistant or executive assistant can also help teach your business how to become more virtual and teach people how to use Zoom skills or work with your own clients on a virtual basis. So they bring a lot of collaborative skills to the table on how to be a more virtual business. So that's a great place to start if you're thinking about it. Let's move forward and talk about really what Valerie and I are trying to do together. So Results Resourcing is a talent platform, but we're also an online talent staffing agency that partners. And we help solve the #1 small business hiring problem, which is finding qualified, flexible workers. Yes, you can go do it yourself on a lot of talent platforms but it doesn't always mean that you'll be successful in finding qualified, flexible workers that can do the work you want done. And so what results resourcing is we're basically the best of both worlds. We are the freelance job platform that comes with your own recruiter. So we have a lot of technology that is very similar to the technology that is available to you on the big platforms out there. But what's different is we're not do it yourself. We do it for you. So we bring staffing experts, recruiters, to work with our technology to go out and find the best freelancers for you. And that we not only do that through freelancers that are already on our platform, just like many of the other platforms, but we're also LinkedIn recruiters on LinkedIn. And so we post jobs on LinkedIn, and we have special access to talent that is looking for freelance work. And because we recruit on the LinkedIn platform all the time, we're a well-known brand, and some of the best freelancers apply to jobs for us because they know that we bring really quality clients and quality jobs to the table. And that's what great freelancers are looking for. They want to work for great clients, be part of a team, be part of a purpose. And that's really what we bring to the table, is the ability to find great talent for our clients that are looking to hire 1099 contract talent. Let's just talk a little bit about why working with a platform like Results Resourcing and staffing experts like Imprimis and Results Resourcing is high ROI for small business. It's largely because we are freelance work experts. That's what we do day in, day out. And we partner with Imprimis because Imprimis is specialist in full-time temporary talent. So the combination really gives you the gamut of talent that you might need. Results Resourcing is also designed for small business from the ground up. We thought about what does small business need to be successful in hiring freelancers. And we also have human matchmakers that we bring to the table to help make the process work effectively. And if we compare that to Upwork and Fiverr, which I mentioned before, are the leading do-it-yourself platforms, yes, they're absolutely freelance work experts and they have tons of freelancers on their platforms. But frankly, they're really not designed to help small businesses. And you do have to do it yourself. There's no human help available to you. And some of the best talent that can be made available to freelancers, to clients through Upwork and Fiverr, maybe be to enterprise clients that can provide subscription services for those kinds of added value human help. And so when we talk about what we provide to you, we do the work for you. It's not do it yourself. We have a recruiter that we make available to every job. We provide a custom talent pool that is custom to your work requirements. We provide human help all along the way. And frankly, we guarantee our matches. At the end of the day, we're going to present you with choices and guarantee that those choices are good ones for you. And I'll talk for a minute about what that process looks like in a second. I also wanted just to contrast a well-meaning friend. I mentioned earlier that many times businesses hire because somebody they know recommended somebody. And while there may be trust there, it doesn't mean that that well-meaning friend really understands your business, understands the intricacy of freelance work, or really can provide all the different benefits that we describe here. So it's great to take a look at somebody a good friend recommends to you, but that's do it yourself. And then you're in the position of having to spend time vetting whether that person does have the skills to do the work that you need done. So it's just something to think about when you're considering what a well-meaning friend has to offer for you. So let's talk really briefly about how the process works, working through our platform. And basically what we try to do is provide ROI on your time and guarantee that the results you get from working with us are going to meet your needs. And so first and foremost is just, coming to either Imprimis or to us to talk about what your talent needs. That requires registration on the platform. But the first thing that we do is we have a success call with you to talk about your talent needs. No obligation. It's really exploring how freelance work can supplement your team to improve your results. And this is a free consultation. And we'll talk later about how you can access this through special links that Premise has to our platform. But this is the most important place to start, because if we don't define your business requirements properly, then we're not probably going to be able to find the best resources for you. So it's about a half-hour web call, and it's really worth it because we help you think through the freelance talent that's going to best help you be successful. After that, we go through a process that we call talent curation. And we basically post the job and recruit for the best freelancers that match your exact custom job requirements on our own platform. And as I mentioned before, we also recruit on LinkedIn. So we post your job to LinkedIn, and we cultivate very proactively talent that can meet your requirements on LinkedIn. Then they register on the results resourcing platform. So we have a combined set of talent that meets your skills on our platform, because one of the things that we do is we ultimately present information to you in a very consistent way. So you can basically do comparison shopping. So you can look at a choice of talents that are all presenting information custom to your business requirements in a consistent format that makes it easier for you to compare and contrast the three primary choices that we're going to offer to you. So after we post the job and bring talent to the table so we can evaluate them, then we tend to interview probably the top 8 to 10 candidates. And those 8 to 10 candidates surface for us because of all of the technology that we have that identifies people that best match your job requirements, looks at the proposals they put together custom to your job requirements, and allows us to interview the top talent. And so we'll interview anywhere from 8 to 10 people on your behalf with your custom job in mind, with a recruiter that's dedicated to your job. And we basically surface who we think are the best 3 candidates for your job. And what we present to you is an online talent pool that provides information about each of those candidates, gives you access to their LinkedIn link, their websites if they have a website. It gives you access to our interview notes, so you'll know why we feel they were a really good fit for you. And then you also see 3 custom proposals, a proposal that's customized to your requirements from each of them, along with their pricing. And that's what you're able to look at when you're doing comparisons. So you've got a lot of information to decide whether these people are a right fit for you. And then we also coordinate your interviews with each of these 3 best candidates. And that is what we call our talent curation. And we do charge a fee for it. The average fee is about $1,000, sometimes more, sometimes less, but that's the average. And that basically pays for us to do all of this work for you while you're just waiting for us to do it for you, as opposed to you having to spend the time and money to do it yourself. And that is basically the cost of recruiting. And it's quite a long process to do all these steps for you. And we're really good at it. And ultimately, we guarantee the 3 matches that we give for you. So once you do hire through the platform, those matches are guaranteed. So for some reason, which did happen in the last 2 years, somebody got COVID, or a family member got COVID, or someone was unable for some reason to do the core work that the job profile specified, we would replace that person for you with another person in the talent pool. So we really are we have skin in the game. We want you to be successful with the freelancers that we recruit for you. And ultimately, you hire through our platform, and then we manage all of the payment administration and the 1099 tax information. We do take a job deposit, but that ultimately is drawn down when you actually pay the invoices of the freelancer for their 1099 services costs. And so all in, it's a premium white glove service, to help you define your needs, that we go find 3 best people that can do the work for you and really manage all the work of hiring and paying and handling the 1099 administration for your freelance worker. And so again, our goal is to really be high ROI for you. So you can spend your time doing the things you do best in servicing your customers and really helping us understand what you need so you can do that better by reducing the non-core work that your firm has to do and allowing you to focus on your high ROI activity. So we'd like to now talk a little bit about how Valerie's firms and I, can help you solve your number one hiring problem, which is finding qualified, flexible workers. So with that, we'd like to open it up for Q&A and take it from there.
All right, well, thank you, Elizabeth, and we'll see if there's some questions. And I just want to say that I'm very excited about being able to offer freelancers to our clients because, as a temporary employee, for example, they don't fit in the freelance 1099 world. Usually our clients want someone 40 hours a week, and they're at a level of pay where they cannot be 1099s. And so this is a whole different, offering, or a whole different way to get some not only flexibility, but get some good talent that can work 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, 40 hours a week for a certain length of time. Everything is flexible these days, right? I know that we had a lot of office space, and when the pandemic hit and our lease was up, we all went home, and we're still home. And we use some of the co-working spaces for the flexibility that we need if we need to have an office or we need to have a meeting. So this just fits in with the new world of work, really, and the flexibility that businesses need to be able to find the expertise and only pay for what you need and not what you don't need. So I don't see any. Chloe, do you see any other questions?
Yes, we have another one. It says, what to outsource, how to decide what's core and non-core work for my business.
Oh, that's another really good one. And one of the things that we end up talking about a lot with our clients in that free talent consultation, where we can basically just listen and hear what's going on with your business and what's frustrating you, what you need help with. And we really help you think through that whole process. And so basically, as I mentioned before, your time's finite. There's only so many hours in the day. And whether we're talking about you or some of your core team members, the cost of your time actually has a number associated with it. So, whether you think about paying yourself $100 an hour or $500 an hour, every hour you spend is an investment that you're making. And so our thought is that time that you invest should be spent on the things that are going to return revenue to you, that are going to return happy clients to you, the help that is spent delivering value to those clients that help you grow and scale your business. And so one of the things that we talk through is, what are those core activities? What is your core value proposition? And anything that's directly related to that is your core business and things you should be doing. And then anything that is not directly related to that is fair game for thinking about freelancing. And it's not something that you need to wholesale outsource on day one, but you can start to wade into the waters and think about certain things that you might want to outsource. And you may start with things that are simple, like bookkeeping or invoice management, things like that you need to do to manage your business, but your client really doesn't care how you do that or how effectively you do that. That's just a cost of doing business. And so, Chloe, I'm going to suggest that if you can, paste in that link called the ROI of time. And so for those of you on the call, this is a really quick little survey tool that we've developed that's all about the ROI of time. And it will allow you to take a little quiz, basically, that will take you through the steps of thinking through the ROI of your time. And it starts with putting a value on what's an hour of your time worth, or an hour of somebody key in your organization's work. And then it helps you think through, what is the core thing I deliver to the market? And then how much time am I spending on that versus other things that I need to do to run my business? So it's kind of a fun thing that will help you walk through and actually give you a numerical analysis of, at the end of the day, this is how much time you're spending on the core work of your business. And this is roughly how much time in terms of an hourly value that you're spending doing non-core work that might be great to outsource to someone else.
So Elizabeth, we do have a question. How
Okay.
does the freelancer cover professional liability?
That's a really great question. And I would say it's a question that ought to be asked with every job that you might outsource with someone. As I said, that would be something that would probably mean that you would want to hire a freelancer that is actually a business that has insurance. You may have freelancers. There are plenty of freelancers out there that have full-time jobs and freelance on the side that may not have they may not have professional liability insurance. So that's one of the things that might end up being a requirement, for a freelancer to be hired by you. And along with that, there are a number of people, depending on the role, that want to have a separate contract or a separate non-disclosure agreement. And all those things are possible. Those are just things that we talk about when we build a job profile for you. Because something like that would rule out a lot of freelancers. So again, it depends on what the work is that you want done. But more than likely, a virtual assistant is not going to have professional liability. They may, if they're a business. So it really depends on what kind of work you want to outsource and just what that professional liability exposure is. But that would be something that, if that's important to you, it would be an important requirement to have in your search for a freelancer.
All right. Well, I don't see any other questions in the chat, and we're coming up on about 45 minutes. So let's, do we have another slide that talks about how
We
to
do.
us?
Perfect.
So here are some our special partnership offer. If you would like to try out our platform and put a job listing on it, you can get a 10% discount on the talent curation fee. And if you need some help in getting through the process, because it is new and it is technology, so there's a lot of questions usually. Julie Stevens on my team can help you there. And of course, Elizabeth is always available to help as well. So Jay Stevens at imprimis.com can help you, lead you through that process of putting in your job requirements and then hooking you up with a great freelancer.
Yep.
Right.
And I was going to say that, and the link at the bottom of that slide, is the link for the Imprimis interface, which is also shown in the picture there. So it shows a little bit about Imprimis and then what we're doing together. And to register on the platform is actually, fairly simple. It's really the fields that you see right there. And then the first thing that you're asked to do when it opens to the client console is a big yellow button that says, start my job, or, ask for a freelance or something like that. And you press that button and it gives you a choice. You can take a survey, a job survey yourself, but I really suggest you just press the button to sign up for a free consult. And that will be with me because of, the work that Valerie and I are doing together. And I'd be thrilled to spend time with you and talk further about how we can help you have the freelancers that can help you scale your business.
Any other questions before we log off and go on to the rest of our day? I hope you'll try it out and see how it works for you. I'm pretty sure that just about every business has a need for a freelancer of some kind, or at least that's what I've found by talking to all my friends who use our services, and they're not going to stop using our regular services because they fit the bill for other things. So this just gives you another, as I said before, another something in your toolbox to be able to use and continue to be flexible in your hiring. So any other words of wisdom, Elizabeth?
No, but thank you so much for the opportunity to do this webinar with you, Valerie, and it's a pleasure working with you in the Imprimis work group, and certainly look forward to helping those who are on the call today.
All right, that sounds good. Well, thank you so much, and off we go. Good afternoon.
Take care.